Welcome back, trappers. Today I want to show you a simple set to catch more than just a raccoon when you're trapping the river. Here in South Central PA, the Susquehanna River is a big part of our trapping area. It's a highway, it's an interstate for raccoons, muskrats, mink, fox, coyote, beaver. It's about what you're going to run into down here, maybe the occasional weasel. So I know when I started out, you know, I didn't have a job, and I had a few traps I inherited, you know, or was given to me by my pap. My pap was a big time muskrat trapper, big water trapper on the Yellow Breeches. By the time I got into it, he was in his mid 60s. And he just didn't do it anymore. So I learned a lot of things from him, and I added that to the way I thought you should do things. And I learned I was wrong, and some things I just kind of maybe tried to modernize. And long story short, my pap was right on a lot of things. Now, saying that, we're going back almost 20 years. I started setting steel in the ground, I want to say probably around 9 or 10 years old, as far as following along on the trap line. My dad kind of tinkered around, trapped a little bit, and then you know, it's my turn, you know, what I wanted to do. So, you know, we all start out somewhere. My big feat was pulling maybe 5 raccoons off of the Yellow Breeches. Maybe I didn't start trapping until, you know, Thanksgiving, because as we all know, you know, fur gets prime later on, and I don't know what I was going to do with only 5 prime raccoons, but back then they were, I think, $12 a piece when I started trapping. So anyhow, a lot of people like to use dog proofs. I do too. I more or less use them as a filler nowadays between canine traps. Say just on a set that's hammered with coon tracks, like a, you know, you're going along a creek bank, along the river, somewhere it's just hammered with coon tracks, and well, you know, you could put in a pocket set, you could do this, you could do that, but maybe you're trying to get, you know, the 10 canines that run down the riverbank that day, and you know, you just want to try to keep the raccoons out of your dirt hole set, whatever you want to do. So as time went on, I figured out a way you could trap, and well, here in PA we don't really get rain in the summer, so you get a lot of dry bank like this. Now the water's out here, now we're good. Now the water's, it's starting out here, but it's all marsh, so that water line ain't gonna come up and substantially stay, say up here where this line is, until right around Thanksgiving, if not even a little bit after. If it comes up, it'll probably go right back down, and if anything, it tends to hang somewhere in here. So that leaves you open to opportunities in early season for a lot of canine activity running up and down the riverbank. And as the river comes in, it tightens up the tracks a little bit, for say, because not every animal wants to run in the water and get its feet wet. A lot of animals, like raccoons, will get shellfish out of the water and stuff when it's warm in early season, and that's fine. We'll go over that here. But here in PA, mid to late November is when our muskrat mink season come in, so kind of ties in perfect. By the time that water is going up and tying the bank in tight, our muskrat mink season's coming in. So here, this little section of river, I probably only got like 150, 200 yards. But over the years, I've pulled probably, you know, 10, 12 muskrats a year, and probably somewhere around 14, 15 raccoons, just in this section. It's not the only section we have, but it's just an access point. It's public property, it's fishing boat property. So also with fishing boat property, right here is the high water mark. On fishing boat property, you can't go above the high water mark. You got to keep your traps inside of it. It kind of shortens you up on what you can do. You see the tracks obviously when you're walking down the bank. You come down into the river bottom, you see them. Ain't really nothing you can do legally about it, and with today's fur prices, and it just, I mean, with everything comes together, you know, if you can get the animal to come down into here, not up here, it's great. You avoid the green genes. So, all right, we're gonna get started here. So, let's brought some simple stuff along today. So we'll go with, so like early season, early, I'll bring them a basket down and say right in here, you're gonna have a coon trail running right here. Like I said before, that's fine. You could, you know, knock a dog proof in there, put cat food in it with fish oil around it. Don't matter, it's cheap, it's easy. You're not gonna catch every day. Because I mean, in early season they're looking for food, but at the same time, they walk by it. The canines will walk down, and I've had fox come down and they knock over the dog proofs, just like your dog would at home. They'll knock it over and they'll get the cat food out, just like your dog would at home. I have 2 labs and I have a cat, and if they can get to the cat food, they get to the cat food. So just because it's cat food doesn't mean only cats eat it. Doesn't mean only raccoons eat it. But anyhow, so we get to where, you know, when the water comes up here, this is where it's time to, you know, say shine as far as adding to your fur for the year. So how it gets, see in here it gets undercut. I'll see if I can get this in here. So you get undercut, and it goes up. Now there's other areas that are a little bit more where this, let's say, come out more like a C. But this is the same general idea. So here, what we're gonna do in this instance, we're not gonna, you know, like I said before, you can stick a dog proof right here. Real simple, right? You know, you got your tag on your chain. Now, you could take this cable here, and that's adjustable cable. So what I would do is, you know, open this cable up, you know, and you can run it through like so. I run it the wrong way, but so you're going to run it through your adjustable end through your closed end. Pull that tight. It ain't going nowhere. It's made a nice loop. So then what I always do is I set my dog proof. I mean, you can do it before or after, it don't matter. Set dog proof. I just do it with my hands. Now, usually there's a tree root up here, or, well, in this instance, we'll take a log, say it like this here. Now, obviously it's not attached to anything, but you would take this, open your loop up, take your dog proof, stick your dog proof through. When you pull that tight, you also tighten the slack up. You pull it tighter. So that gives you 3 feet, roughly. And now you can put this out in the water, waterlogged or not. Waterlogged or better, it's a little bit heavier. You can catch a raccoon in that. You can catch, you know, up to, I'd say, probably around here, your average raccoon's 18 pounds. Yeah, he's gonna probably move it 4 feet that way, 5 feet this way, whatever. But most times you have your tree roots, you know, and everything. That or they're just lazy. But most of the time, if they do drag this at all, it's about 4 foot log. But if they do drag it, they're gonna get caught. They're gonna get caught right in there. They're not gonna go out in the water. They're not gonna try to take it. They might try to take it up the bank, but if they do, they're gonna be here, sitting here waiting for you when you get here, because they ain't gonna pull it up the bank. So same instance goes for what I'm going to show you next. So what you want to do in this case, you take your Duke 1.5. Now we're just going to say the water is up to this dark line right here. We're going to go with right here. So I'll move you closer here in a second. Dang, bank's angled here a little bit. Get this tree out of the way. Weed, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So, ouch. Give you a nice solid platform to work with here. If I get myself out of this briar bush. Woo! That was a sharp one. Anyhow, not to get off the subject here. So, your Duke 1.5 or your Victor 1 3/4, which, you know, if you're just getting started, this is an easy trap to get for next to nothing. These have been around long enough. These Duke 1.5s, same deal. And where the Victor 1 3/4 comes into play is it has a little bit bigger pan. Now both you can hold. I got a video on my channel where I did the same situation. Now I had a pocket set, I had a piece of fish in it, and I caught a 38-pound coyote actually in the same area on the same bank with the cable on a log in a Duke 1.5. It had caught it sometime in the evening. It held it overnight, and it was here in the morning when I got here. And the Fishing Boat Commission was out in the parking lot when I took it out, and they were shocked. They couldn't believe it. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So just to debunk that whole theory of you got to have this big fancy canine trap to, you know, have a chance of getting a canine along the river. The Victor 1 3/4 and the Duke 1.5 are very universal. A lot of times on the river, it's very, you know, how river mud or clay is, and big dogs like that, they don't get traction. Okay, so all that means is it gives you, the trapper, that, you know. And now this goes into, you know, not needing bait. You can do this without bait, you can do it with bait. Either or. So we're gonna say our water line is right here. Okay, so imagine, so what you're gonna do, you come in, and this is gonna be all soft, or if you're into December, it's gonna be probably rock hard. This is just dried out sand, because it honestly hasn't rained here any more than an inch, and well, since May, beginning of May. So so in reality, this wouldn't be as dry and as dusty. It'd be like, for say, if you're gonna bed a beaver trap, it's gonna be all muddy. You're gonna take it, you're gonna bat it down, and that's gonna make a trap bed. And then you're gonna take this and sit this here. Now you can sit it this way, you can sit it this way, however way you want to face it. But this is an instance whereas, like when I set my beaver traps, and when I set my beaver traps, or I set a canine trap, I always set them with the dirt hole here, and this would be the entry to it, so that way when they step, the jaw comes up on the side and it doesn't kick their leg forward. So in this instance, you go against that method in a sense, and you set this way. So setting this way, this is like, you know, your 2-lane road going down the road. So just, let's just say this is your yellow line. Well, let's just say this is your white line, this is your yellow line, and then up here on this steeper bank, that's where your muskrats maybe would go, or your mink. Your mink are most likely going to run that little bit of a slope going up. They're a little bit more agile. Big lazy raccoon, he's going to walk on the flat edge. You know, if it's warm enough, he's going to get the crayfish, he's going to get the shellfish, you know, whatever he can. Dead shad floating up in the wintertime, he's going to get all that. So anyhow, so you set that there. Now your water, let's just say oh man, sorry, I'm not the best camera guy here, but say your water's here. So you're going to set this roughly, I mean, you could set it honestly, so the water's just over the pan. More or less, I like to dig it down. You want to have probably at least 2 inches of water over top. And what that's good for, you know, is the water a lot of times on the river, it's constantly, whether it's raining or not, it's up, it's down, depending on where they drop dams or drop the water level on the dam, close the spillway off, raise it, depending on what time of the year. So in doing this, what you're doing, just like, you know, today's generation driving on the road, you don't always stay between the lines. So you set it here. Now, whether it's a raccoon looking for food, whatever it may be, GoPro mouse getting loose. Dang thing. Anyhow, eventually they're gonna step over that line. They step over that line, they're in your pan, they're hitting your pan, they're in your trap. So when you come here in the morning, the evening, whenever you're checking, there's either a nice plump happy raccoon or a football sized muskrat. If you're really lucky, a mink. Or depending what side of the fur trade you want to be on, you know, maybe a fox or a raccoon, or a fox or a coyote's better. So in my instance, what I like to do too, let's just say, now like this here, that's a you could call it a quote blind set. Now you're gonna do that. Now there's no bait involved with that, and usually you're gonna find that when you're trapping, there's gonna be tracks right along there. Now you might not see them down in the water, or you might see little depressions, but you set that like that. Now you might not catch the first day, the second day, the third day, but there'll be a spurt when they're just running. It's just, you know, it's Friday, they're off work in a sense, and they're going. And you'll come in and, you know, you're gonna set one here. You might set one 3 feet down the way. I can't tell you how many times I've done it. I've came in, there's a raccoon and a raccoon. There's a muskrat and a muskrat. There's a mink, a muskrat. There's a fox, a coon. I mean, trapping's like Christmas morning every day. And this is just, you know, you're coming down from the riverbank, or, you know, say come down the road in a boat, but come down the river in a boat, same deal. You come down here, it's just a bigger surprise because you got to hop down the riverbank, and, you know, say you got in 50 yards, you know, because in my eyes, you can't ever set too many of these. I mean, you got a couple undercuts, you could set 2 per undercut. So you had 6 undercuts and 200 yards. That's 12 catches. So unless they're holding, you know, now, I mean, that's an easy way to put up a lot of fur in a short distance, save on gas, save on, you know, money as far as lure, bait, and, well, it'll teach you a lot. It'll teach you animal habits and the whole 9 yards. Anyhow, so let's just say this water's out to here. So you have 2 feet of flat bank, and your water's out here. So what you do, or what I do, you don't have to do it with this. You can do it with something else. I'll reach in my, actually it's in my pocket, and I'll get Lennon's muskrat lure. It almost has like a mint tea kind of smell to it. And anytime you're outside, it's always a little twig, stick, weed, whatever you want. So let's just say your water's out a little bit and you got 2 feet back here. So you're gonna take this, you're gonna dab it. Now this needs to stir it up a little bit, but you're gonna put a nice kind of beeswax deal on there, and you're gonna stick it. I'll show you here in a second. But you're gonna put that almost the same as you would a dirt hole. That's right here. You're gonna put that, you know, maybe say 4 inches. You could put it less, you could put it more. I would say about 4 inches. That reason being, so you're gonna put that stick up just above the water. I would maybe say at least 2 inches above the water. Unless you got rain coming, maybe go higher. You could have a stick up here, it don't matter. It would just be, you know, like a scent post in a sense, but if you can get it, you have a consistent water level. Obviously you're checking your traps every 12 hours, maybe every 24. If you're local, you know, it's running a small trap line, it's probably, well, I won't say every 12, but every 24. Weekends, maybe every 12, depending, like, you know, you check on a Friday evening and check on a Saturday morning. But you keep that 4 inches out, and when they come along this bank here, they're gonna smell that, whether it's a mink, muskrat, raccoon. More or less with that, you probably just gonna get, well, I mean, you get a canine too. I wouldn't say mink would necessarily come to it. You can get mink on it. More or less the chance of finding out if you had a mink investigated is when you catch a muskrat on that, and you come in the next day and you have half a muskrat because the mink came in and took the muskrat. That happens more than I wish it would. But you just need something to draw them in, and they have no idea that trap's there. They have no idea that trap's there, and you only do it 4 inches out. Muskrats don't have that big of a, I mean, their paws are only that far from their head, so they come in, you know, and a muskrat might, you know, in this case, like here, they'll come in and swim up to the bank. Well, he might come in, swim up to the bank, he'll smell that, maybe he circles that stick, he steps in the trap. But either way, guys, I hope that covered a little bit for you. I hope it helps you out. Please, you know, comment, send me, you know, comment, pictures, whatever. Let me know how you do this first season. I hope that helped you out. We get more trap tips out here soon. And guys, we're counting down the days. We're getting close. So tight chains, and hopefully, hey, maybe we'll see you out on the line.